Prime Minister Narendra Modi has already departed from the Brindisi airport in Italy after attending the G7 summit. Right there you can see visuals on your screens, viewers. It was late at night, around 2 a.m. exactly, when Prime Minister Narendra Modi had departed from Italy. He will be returning back to New Delhi. Remember, viewers, while attending the summit on the sidelines, the Prime Minister has held a slew of bilaterals with several world leaders, particularly G7 leaders. But apart from this, PM Modi also addressed the outreach session on artificial intelligence, energy and Africa as well as the Mediterranean at the summit itself. He expressed during his address that for technology to be successful, it had to be underpinned by a human-centric approach. He also shared India's success in leveraging digital technology for public service delivery. Talking of India's AI mission, he further stated that this technology should be aimed at fostering progress and the well-being of all. During his speech, the Prime Minister had underlined that with this broader objective in mind, India was fostering international collaboration as a founding member of the Global Partnership of AI. Besides all these talking points, the Prime Minister has also elaborated on India's energy transition pathway, noting that its approach was based on availability, accessibility and affordability as well as acceptability. The Prime Minister also mentioned that India is working towards achieving the target of a net zero carbon emissions by 2070 and has also emphasized the challenges faced by countries of the global south due to uncertainties and reiterated India's commitment to representing their priorities and concerns at the world stage. Meanwhile, joining us on the broadcast this morning live is my colleague Brian Anthony Thomas. Brian, over to you. It's been a packed schedule for the Prime Minister over the last few days. He was in Italy. He's just departed over the night. He's returning back to India as we speak. Meanwhile, he has addressed the outreach summit at the G7. Take our viewers through what exactly is said. I've tried to give an outline, but if you can provide an in-depth explanation of what the Prime Minister had said.
Well, Pia, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's diplomatic engagements at the G7 summit in Italy was pretty packed up, and on the sidelines of the very G7 summit in Italy also, the Prime Minister engaged in significant interactions with leaders from Turkey, UAE, Brazil and Jordan. Even he had a very delightful, conversation also with the Turkish president, UAE president and even Brazilian president, and even the leaders also, posted pictures with the Prime Minister on platform X, and even the Prime Minister met with King Abdullah II of Jordan, also further strengthening the bilateral relations. And he also wrote on X also that he has met the King Abdullah on the sidelines of the G7 summit. And talking about the very overview of the G7 summit also, Pia, India has been invited as an outreach country to the G7 summit, which includes participation from the 7 member countries, that is the US, UK, Canada, Germany, Italy, Japan and France, and as well as the European Union. And even Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni also welcomed global leaders, including UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, US President Joe Biden, French President Emmanuel Macron, and even Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, among others. Now, yes, it was a very, very important discussion where the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, engage in multiple, dialogue, multiple, conversations with world leaders, and even, Giorgia Meloni invited Prime Minister to the G7 summit in Italy's Apulia region, and this marks India's 11th and Prime Minister Narendra Modi's 5th consecutive participation in the G7 summit. And definitely, Italy is a very significant trading partner for India within the European Union, with bilateral trade currently valued at a whopping USD 15 million. Yes, Pia.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.